Have you ever fancied riding a Harley Davidson through the Bahamas, swimming with Sealines in Mexico, or maybe flying an old Russian fighter jet in St. Petersburg? If so, keep watching today's Planet Cruise Weekly as we look at some of the world's wackiest cruise excursions. So hello and welcome to episode 63 of Planet Cruise Weekly, the show where two old sailors get to grips with each other and discuss the wonderful world of cruising. That could be the introduction to an entirely different show.
There you go.
I'm joined today in the studio by my old seafaring colleague, Glenn. Glenn, how are you?
Good job my name was on that auto cue. nearly forgot.
No, I didn't. You know what it is? Whenever I come to say your name...
You want to say something else?
No. Yeah, it comes up so many different names and Glenn is never one of them, you see. But you answer to all of them, which is always the handy thing.
True.
Now, Glenn, today's episode is really handy because it's all about wacky, weird, wonderful tours.
Yeah.
And of course, your job on board was generally, yes, to do nothing, but apart from that, to help organise. You did. You were very good at looking busy.
Yeah.
To help organise the tours on board.
I was, that was my job. Yeah, so this will be interesting. I say we've had a few strange ones over the years. I mean, you do the bog standard city tours, and when you go to the Caribbean, you tend to do things that are a little bit more active and a little bit more different. But I think we've got a few different ones today, don't we?
We certainly do. Okay, so before we start on the main meat of today's subject, let's have a little look at the background of cruising excursions. And for those of you new to cruising, one of the big highlights of any voyage is the opportunity to join a whole host of pre-built and organised excursions designed to help you explore and experience the destinations you visit. And these are often offered either by the ship itself, sometimes locally in the destination through various local companies, or through a travel company you book with, such as Planet Cruise.
Yeah, now traditionally these are coach tours in lands to the unmissable highlights such as the pyramids of Giza or the big cities of Jerusalem or Rome. They all run to a similar format, revolving around letting the coach do the hard work while a knowledgeable guide explains the local culture and customs, and there's normally a free buffet thrown in on the occasional stop at a local craft shop to pick up those souvenirs as well.
Yeah, there's nothing like an Egyptian carpet shop on the way back from the pyramids.
Spend 2 hours on that.
Now, these classic style tours are an essential way of exploring some of the world's most iconic destinations and will always have a place in helping people get a taste for that bucket list destination. I mean, we've both enjoyed many of them over the years, mainly because they were free.
Yeah.
And if you had a mate like Glenn in the tours department, then you could get on and enjoy many of the big cities and tick them off.
The blondes always used to get the helicopters.
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah. Well, whereas I got that slow coach
You got that
tour.
slow coach tour around Rome.
Thanks, mate. Even when I put on a blonde wig, it still didn't change. But you know what? Because the base audience for cruising is changing, because the demographic is getting younger and broader, the style of excursion is also changing. And that's what we're going to have a little look at today.
Now, we should clarify here that there are simply hundreds of amazing tours on offer, and the number seems to grow every single week. Now, you can sample the healing and restorative powers of a Fijian thermal mud pool with Royal Caribbean, or discover New Zealand's and Middle-earth on the Lord of the Rings tour with Celebrity, or even experience a slumber safari in South Africa, courtesy of P&O Cruises.
Now, the list is literally endless. So today, in a hopeless attempt to try and fit this all into 10 minutes, we're just going to look at the tours we think are unusual, weird, and maybe slightly wacky. Now, we should also note that while we encourage independent exploration of the ports of call that you'll visit on a cruise, and in fact, we've got lots of advice on what you can do under your own steam in many of the world's top cruise destinations via a great top tips series from yours truly. Click here if you fancy watching that. The tours we talk about today are in the main unavailable to individuals or simply too complex to arrange independently.
So this is Keith and Glenn's introduction to 10 of the world's wackiest cruise excursions in absolutely no particular order.
So in at number 1, my favourite, and this is something that you could do for as little as $46,000.
Lovely.
It's an absolute.
I'll take the wife.
It's an absolute bargain.
Do half price for kids.
Now, this is with Crystal Cruises, and it's from St. Petersburg, of course, in Russia. And on the summertime Baltic cruises, you could end up flying a Soviet MiG fighter jet. Yes, you heard me correctly, Soviet MiG fighter jet. It's a full-on 2-day excursion. You travel through to Samorov Air Base and you undergo a physical exam, flight instruction, and then you strap on a helmet for a dizzying journey over the Russian countryside at speeds, get this, of up to 1,536 miles per hour.
Lovely.
That's quite worrying. That's more than twice the speed of sound.
I can imagine some of my oldies from Marco Polo loving that.
Yeah.
With their blue rinse and knitting.
Be a great way to go out, wouldn't it? But there we go, that's the first of our weird and wacky tours.
Now, if you're an animal lover and enjoy the company of four-legged friends, then this next excursion could be the one for you. Now, if you find yourself sailing out of Venice down the Adriatic with Paul Gauguin cruises, you can indulge in a little truffle hunting in Croatia. This tour takes visitors into the Motovin forest, accompanied by carefully trained truffle dogs in search of both black and white truffles. Sadly though, you can't keep any of the priceless fungi that your dogs unearth, but the expedition is followed by a truffle cookery class and a local wine tasting with truffle scented cheese, honey and pate.
Yum, I like the sound of that.
Do you?
Yeah. Now Glenn, do you remember the Channel 5 series, The Deadliest Catch?
No.
If you do, then you'll love this next excursion offered by Holland America Cruises, where you'll get the opportunity to spend a day on board the Aleutian Ballad. It's the boat that was famously capsized by a 60-foot wave in the fearsome Bering Sea during the filming of this well-loved series. Nowadays, the crab fishing vessel is based in the Alaskan port of Katatuan, and it's from there that it sails through the forested islands of the Inside Passage. The catch of the day is likely to include the menacing looking but really tasty king crab, as well as giant octopus, sharks, starfish and eels that are all hauled up by the crew from these long lines and barrel pots and giant 700-pound king crab pots. It's quite incredible. Now, during the cruise or during the sailing that you'll do, bald eagles will swoop low for fish. You may spot whales, dolphins and otters. It's absolutely incredible, and the crew are full of stories about the perfect storms, their near-death experiences and the general hardships of a fisherman's life, which are very different to the hardships of a cruiser's life.
Now, one of the tours we feel has the potential to go slightly weird is Royal Caribbean's Bob Marley Experience in Jamaica. Now, this is your chance to discover Jamaica's Graceland, listening to reggae music on the scenic drive along Jamaica's coastline and winding country roads to the mountain village of 9 Miles. Now, here you'll tour the location of the birth and resting place of the King of Reggae, Bob Marley, and have the opportunity to experience the Rastafarian culture and religion, if you know what we mean. On the return trip, stop at the Jerk Centre for a delicious lunch that includes jerk pork and chicken, rice and peas, and this is a Jamaican experience that you definitely won't want to miss.
If you're cruising the Baltic with P&O or Cunard and you're relatively fit and you don't mind heights, then I recommend my favourite tour in Stockholm. It's the rooftop hike of Stockholm's old Parliament building. After a quick trip in the lift, you'll don some safety gear, you'll be led up the attic steps onto the roof for a fresh perspective on the Swedish capital from 141 foot up. It's absolutely amazing. 360-degree views across the historic Gamla Stan, which basically translated means Old Town. And again, you can see 8 of the 14 islands on which this water-hemmed city was built. It's jaw-dropping, the commentary's amazing, and I just think it's one of the best tours you can do.
We then move on to Azamara Club Cruises, and they're famous for their Azamazing evenings, where every cruise they arrange a free tour for everyone on the ship to an exclusive location. Now, past favourites include a private performance of the St. Petersburg Symphony Orchestra and celebrating the Day of the Dead in the heart of the Mexican desert. But we think the wackiest has to be its Anchors Away party on board the USS Yorkston in South Carolina. Now, Azamara has secured exclusive use of the large flight deck of the Second World War aircraft carrier, which is now a military museum for a night of jazz, cocktails, canapes and dancing, set against the backdrop of the city's skyline and harbour, and the event is nothing short than spectacular.
Yeah, I love the sound of that. Can you imagine?
It does sound pretty cool, that one.
Incredible.
That is a good one.
Now, another tour which may require you to check your bank account first is a cage dive off the coast of South Africa into waters infested with great white sharks. So while not known to be man-eaters, despite what you hear, the white shark, which can grow up to 20 foot in length, will swim up menacingly close to the 5-man steel cage, so you won't be in there on your own, and close enough for glimpses of their razor-sharp teeth. Now, Crystal Cruises offers this outing on its 19-day cruises from Mumbai to Cape Town, and it's around $500.
Now, another tour that really appeals and is offered in various forms by several companies, including Holland America and Carnival, is a Harley Davidson rental experience. In locations as diverse as Alaska to the Caribbean, you can hire one of these iconic motorbikes for a day of either escorted or solo touring. Now, these aren't scooters though, so you will need a full motorcycle license before you let them roll off, and it's also an amazing way to explore the coastline and find out that the deserted beaches are there, and also stop at one of the bars, but no alcoholic drinks.
Have you ever wondered whether it's possible to swim with sea lions?
No.
No, okay. You actually can. All you need to do is slip into a wetsuit, mask or snorkel, or in Glenn's
Like a
case,
normal night at your house on a
stretch yourself in. I don't do that anymore. That was just for the money. And then you get a chance to plunge into a melee of excitable sea lions. And this is actually a place called Los Esotes. It's a desolate rock cluster in Mexico's Sea of Cortez that serves as the mammal's southernmost breeding ground. Now, a ship anchors nearby and the swimmers are taken to the rocks on small boats. You're accompanied, of course, by experienced guides. And then basically you kind of have to treat the sea lions as large, playful, aquatic puppies. I mean, they are slightly bigger than certainly my puppy at home. And they will try and show off, so you might get nipped, jostled and nudged as they do that, and they kind of charge you underwater. They seize mouthfuls of fish. But they're incredible. It is wonderful, it's amazing. Well, I say that, I've not done it. I really would love to do it. But if you've done dolphin, you've done the dolphin thing and that's kind of yesterday, now you want to move on from dolphins. Sea lions is the next best thing. And if you do this, make sure you take an underwater camera.
Now, finally at number 10, an excursion offered by a princess on one of their Alaskan cruises and ticks all the boxes. Nature, adrenaline, animals and high-tech machinery. It starts with a helicopter ride over the impressive Maidenhall Glacier, a whopping 13.6 miles long, before touching down at the dog sled camp. After learning the tricks of the trade from professional mushers, I think that's what they're called, you'll zip through the snow on a sled led by Alaskan Huskies, ending up with a chance to chat with the mushers, taking pictures and more importantly cuddles with the husky puppies. So that is something a little bit different.
I've always wanted to cuddle a husky puppy.
I've done one.
Have you?
Yeah, I did one with 3 years.
You're good with dogs though, you've done quite a few.
Yeah.
But that is a really, really, really good tour to do, and it's a great one to end on. Now, of course, we have only had time to fit 10 in. We've picked our favourite 10. You might disagree. If you do, please get in touch. Tell us a tour that you've done that you thought was amazing, that we should have added into the list. As always, it's all about the chatter. Now, if people do want to get in touch,
there's loads of ways. You can contact us at hello@planetcruise.co.uk, of course Facebook, on Twitter. Make sure you go onto our YouTube site as well and check out our channel there, subscribe, it's free to do that, and you've got 62 other episodes to watch of me and him, plus all our other stuff from Planet Cruise. The other thing, of course, is to make sure you go on the website, check out all the cruises on there as well, and we've also got a concierge team, so they can also talk about any excursions you might want to do as well.
Now, we want to say thank you to these people that have been in touch. We picked the cream of...
La creme de la creme.
La creme de la creme of the comments from this last week.
This one's probably the best one we've had.
Methinks maybe the cameraman filming this and my good friend to my right has possibly had a hand in selecting this first one. But the first one is a thanks to Alicia Bartlett, and she tweeted, "A great day filming on board MSC Magnifica with Planet Cruise." And there's pictures, it's a wonderful photo collage of basically Glenn and Paul.
Yeah, and we did the 4D cinema.
And you're holding hands at the back there. It's lovely.
Were, yeah.
Really nice. No popcorn. And the other comment there was on the back of our Queen Mary 2 deal of the day. It was from David John Derbyshire, and he says, "Our favourite ship, heart emoji, heart emoji." So thanks very much for getting in touch. Don't forget, please do. Again, if you've got suggestions of what you'd like to see our next episode being, then again, please tell us. Thanks for watching, and whatever you do, have a great week.
Cheers, guys.